Hi, welcome to the first edition of the Wisdom Web. Today I bring to you stories from three different civilizations and their mythologies connecting Mercury from the Greek mythology, Narada Muni from the Hindu myths, and Thoth from the Egyptian civilization. Brace yourself for a connection overdrive. Let me first draw you a picture. Imagine yourself standing at the crossroads of time where messages from the gods would intersect with the lives of mortals. Picture little swift winged feet going back and forth, delivering messages and creating havoc and pranks along the way. Imagine having the knowledge from the heavens, the underworld, and the mortal earth. In every corner of the ancient world, covering the Indus, Mesopotamian, and the Roman civilizations, the messenger of the gods have weaved through myths and legends. But what if these figures, Narada Muni, Mercury, and Thoth, were more than just mythological courier services? What if they were the architects of culture, morality, and civilization? Join me as I unravel the tales of these divine messengers and explore how they shaped the ethos of their civilizations. One of the many ways to connect with the world is through exchange of knowledge. This knowledge can be in the form of repeating already hypothesized information, observations, or opinions. This very transfer of knowledge becomes gossip when the knowledge or information you receive becomes of an intimate nature of another person. Growing up in southern India, I remember being often referred to as Narada, a little gossip monger. In all trueness, Narada was the first of the Munis or sages who was the messenger of the gods, quite like Mercury from Greek mythology, who was also the messenger of the gods. If you were to draw a parallel to the mischievous trickster god Mercury and Narada, you will begin to see commonalities. Mercury is the god of communication, financial gain, eloquence, a speedy traveler with his winged shoes, keeper of boundaries, and a god who could access the underworld and the heavens. Narada too is known as the Rishiraj, the king of saints, gifted with the boon of knowledge of the Vedas, astrology, the past, present, and the future. Both Mercury and Narada are wise, mischievous, and known for their pranks and wit. A must have, one would assume, if you are going to be delivering some grave and not so pleasant messages between the divine and human. Narada was the only sage who could transcend the heavens, earth, and the underworld. Narada and Mercury belong to Hindu and Greek mythologies, respectively. While on the Egyptian realm, we have the ibis headed Thoth, the god of the moon, sacred texts, the sciences, magic, and messenger. Master of knowledge and patron of scribes, he too transcended the three realms of earth, the underworld, and the heavens. Now, for a moment, let's drop the mythology for a bit and ask ourselves, why did the three most prominent civilizations, that being the Indus, the Roman, and the Egyptian civilizations, bring the three gods into their lives? Was there a need for an outer layer? Or did we need gods who turned knowledge to devotion, obedience even? Was it a time to bring on mediators for a sound cultural and economic evolution? Did we need the messenger gods to bring a sense of fear in mortals? That the higher ups or gods now have a time and space traveling messenger who will take and bring messages from and to them, a God's own media person. Let's explore this thought a little further. To really understand why the three characters were introduced to our mythology, we need to look at their timelines. Not a generic one, but a timeline that's appropriate to each of the civilizations. Narada is often mentioned in the epics Mahabharata and the Ramayana. Ramayana dates back to the Treta Yuga, or alternatively to the 7th or 4th century BCE. Now, due to the cyclical nature of life and death in Hindu philosophy, Narada makes a comeback in the Mahabharata too, which is the Dwapara Yuga. Now, Mercury made it to the Roman pantheon in the 3rd century BCE, a century apart from the mention of Narada in the scriptures. Mercury went on to become part of other cultures as Buddha. Amongst the Hindus, he is the son of Chandra or Soma, the moon god, and Rohini, his consort, and incidentally, Buddhan, aka Mercury, is the god of commerce and communication. Are you beginning to see similarities here? Thoth is one of the oldest Egyptian gods and dates back to the pre dynastic period between 6000 and 3150 BC. Thoth too had many manifestations as the ibis headed man and as the baboon, the advisor of the gods. Quite like Narada, he moved along information between the three worlds. Now, Thoth and Mercury have an interesting moon connection. In the Hindu version, we know Buddhan is the son of Chandra and Rohini, while Thoth becomes the god of the moon. Khonsu is the moon Khonsu is the moon god, and Thoth gambles to make way for 5 more days in the year for Nut, Ra's daughter, to have her children. These three gods of the Mesopotamian as Mercury, Egyptian as Thoth, and Indus Valley as with Narada, the civilizations are roughly 5,000 years apart. These civilizations born along the rivers were the first to move from hunting and gathering to a domestic, civilized, with preset, quote unquote, normative ways of living, helping the members of these communities to live in a relative peace and fulfillment. What amazes me is the construction of their characters and the stories around them that were a constant play between moral dilemmas and ethical choices. For example, the fluid and bisexual Mercury, the celibate Narada, and Thoth, who married the goddess of truth, justice, and ethics. These stories highlight a spectrum of moral and ethical frameworks and are quite unique to each civilization. One can only wonder if these stories would make a prediction of the future to come, how each of these civilizations' culture and norms will be established, and how the three messengers will carve a path of obedience, fear, and karma mindset. And that's all for me for this episode. Thank you for tuning in. Please subscribe and come back in a week to know more about the sages connected to the moon and their own moral dilemmas. Thank you.